Hello and welcome to this very special interview. My guest on the show today is someone who is committed to keep crores of Indians safe. It is the chairman of India's biggest insurance company, Mr. M. Kumar, chairman of LIC. It's your first time on ET now, so very warm welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. I want to start with something very basic, and which is the moot point. And the moot point is that we are going through a massive and an excruciating slowdown. What has been your understanding of the slowdown and how this has affected your business?
Yeah, there is a slowdown, no doubt about it. But then what I'm seeing is that insurance business is growing. And one reason why it's growing is whenever there's a downturn, there's a need for people to go to safer assets, and that's what they do. And always life insurance has done well when there's a slowdown. But then this slowdown is not permanent. We have seen slowdowns in the past too. It's only a question of time. I can't say when, but then we'll be getting out of it. But meanwhile, we are doing very well.
When we started the financial year, I'm sure you must be working with some numbers and assumptions. The insurance industry is growing at double digit. LIC is growing in about 9 to 10%. Have you, in this year so far, gone below your historical growth?
No, in fact, we are ahead of our historical growth for the last 4-5 years. We are growing at almost 23% in total first year premium. And most of it has been driven by sale of annuities, where we are growing at almost 40%. Yes, there is a concern on the growth in numbers, and that is something we want to set right now.
Your market share is north of 40%. In fact, your market share at an aggregate basis has only gone higher. And some would argue that this is the only large sector where, despite being a government company, you managed to keep your protect your market share. Air India has lost market share. We know what's happened in the telecom sector. We know what's happening even to the general life insurance. So what is the secret sauce here? How come you managed to increase your market share? And 40% in a competitive market is a very impressive number.
Let me just correct you. The first year premium this year, our market share is 72% almost. On the non-single segment, it's close to 40%, as you said. But I would give full credit to this to our agents, 11 lakh field force, our development officers, our branch managers, and the entire team of LIC who have been working very hard to make this happen. You're right. I think this is the only country where, after the opening up of the insurance sector, the government company has managed to not only hold on but actually got back some of the market share in recent years.
You know, good always comes with bad. And the bad news is that if I look at the persistency ratio of what other private sector players are reporting versus LIC, some would argue that the stickiness is not there.
You're right. So for this, we have taken a lot of measures this year. And generally, we have targets on numbers, on premium. This year, we are targeting first year renewal premium. That is the persistency part of it. As of now, we are close to 60 to 63%. But as you said, it is a little below the rest of the peer group. We are working on it. I think going forward, we should be able to do well. But again, let me add that when you look at the 60th month persistency, we look at the 5th year persistency also. There we are doing very well. In terms of the comparison with the private sector and other insurance companies, I think we are doing better than them. So I would say that the weak point is on the 13th month persistency, which we are working on now.
Whereas LIC is in the business of protection, you also are a large investor in Indian equities, bond market, and also other large, government-dominated instruments. Can you broadly tell our viewers that in this year, what has been your investment in debt and equities?
I can tell you that on the NCD part of it, corporate debt is around 40,000 crores. G-Secs, 1,87,000 crores. Equities, 33,000 crores. And we have made a profit on equity of about 13,000 crores so far this year.
So LIC always follows this philosophy of buy the bad news. They're the last resort buyer, right? When markets go down, LIC buys. When markets go up, LIC always has been selling. What's been the trend with your equity investments this year? Are you a buyer in the market? Are you selling?
We have done both. We have bought 33,000 worth of equity. We also sold around 28,000 crore of equity. As I said, we made a profit. And like you said, yes, we buy when the market is down. We are contrarian that way. but then we make sure that the policyholder interest is kept at heart, and that is why most of our investments are in G-Sec. So if you look at equity as a percentage, it would hardly be enough. In terms of volume, it looks big, but in terms of percentage, our debt and G-Secs are far more.
Will that change because the yields are coming down, inflation is lower, so you'll have to generate superior returns to give returns now?
True.
Would you be looking at increasing equity?
We will, what we're trying to do is that we will also move slowly into selling ULIP products. We filed a product with the regulator and we hope to come out with it soon. But that is the only way we will be able to generate returns where, you know, the regulatory issue of the restrictions on equity will not be there in a ULIP product. So we'll be able to do better there.
A very widespread view in the market is that government has used LIC for their out of jail card, which is that every time there have been government disinvestment, every time there have been government issues which need a bailout, LIC has always bailed them out. Do you review your financial decisions independently?
We do that all the time.
There's no pressure ever?
No. We do that all the time, and in fact I can tell you that wherever such investments that you're talking about have been made, we have made profits there also. It's not that we have not made profits. So this is something that we look at long term. Since we are a long term player, it doesn't really matter to us what is happening in the short term. So
you have large investments in some of the bluest of the blue chip companies. On some companies you also have board seats. But when it comes to taking real active role as a shareholder, someone who occupies a board seat, LIC has not been at the forefront. Is that a conscious strategy?
I wouldn't say it's a strategy at all, because since we have a stake in a company, we need to have a nominee director on board. The nominee director keeps track of what is happening and gives us the inputs whenever required. Beyond that, we don't get into the nitty-gritties of the working of the organization.
So you're not involved in actively management, and it will stay like this?
It will stay like that.
If I look at the environment around us is slightly mixed. The need for endowment is very large. Term is where generally there is a bit of a market share disruption, and then middle of that is ULIP. Why LIC has not been able to get a large part of ULIP market share?
See, this is a conscious decision, because we actually wanted on the endowment part for quite some time. We've been very strong in that area. Term, there was a complaint, and I've said it so earlier also, that our rates are not competitive. But with the product that we launched recently, Jeevan Amar, and we have an online also tech term, it's very competitive, and we believe that we will be able to grab some of that space pretty soon. And as I told you, ULIP also is something we are working on. Ultimately, when a policyholder in the Indian market looks at LIC, we have found in the past people were selling ULIPs, but people are more comfortable taking a regular LIC policy, because that's the way they've seen it all these years. So we don't want that to change, because selling ULIPs may not necessarily mean that we are going to get a market share or we're going to grow. It will also depend on what kind of returns we are able to generate for them. So long as the return is very steady, the kind of this year also we've retained our bonus rates for the year. I think that what has been working for us so far will work for us in the future as well. But I agree that we will be getting into the other areas also.
Every large sector, both locally and globally, has seen a massive sectoral consolidation. It's happened to airlines, it's happening in hotels, it's happening in media. I can vouch for it. Within the Indian insurance sector, and I look at the life insurance companies in India, there are more than a dozen companies, more than a dozen. Some of them are large, and half of them don't make profit, half of them will never make profit. Do you think there is a massive consolidation which will happen in the private space now, and that will benefit a firm like LIC?
See, there are 23 life insurance companies, and out of that I would say the top 10 are doing pretty well. Maybe 13 of them have a share of 3-4% put together. But then looking at the kind of potential that is available in the market and the reason why the sector was opened up in the first place, I believe that there is still time for even these other companies to grow, and consolidation is something that maybe will take some more time, maybe in the future. As of now, I don't think that will happen. What we are trying to do, we have a life insurance council of insurers, and they are trying to work, and they have already come out with a insurance awareness campaign, which probably will hit the market in the month of November. So there, what we are trying to say, that we are positioning life insurance, repositioning, I would say, once again, as the primary financial product that people should have before they think of other things. So I think these companies will also grow.
IDBI Bank merger. Was it a nightmarish experience?
Not really, because when I came in, this had already been done. Now IDBI is a typical DFI kind of institution, and we are working closely with them to find out how quickly they can get into retail space, and that is, I think, the only way that they are going to grow. We are on the board, and we are monitoring things very carefully. We have a lot of synergy. In fact, this year IDBI is our lead bank in terms of bank insurance business, and our bank insurance business has gone up from 2.6% to 3.6% basically because of IDBI Bank. They have a big ambitious target of selling insurance for us. This is one. Second, we are working to find out how we can integrate our branches with some of their branches in terms of accounts opening and things like that. And many synergies are in place already. And once they get out the PCA and once they start lending, I think they'll pretty much pick up.
Do they need more money to be recapitalized? What is your sense?
As of now, no.
IDBI Bank is in the home loan business. LIC Housing Finance is also in the home loan business. As per the MOU, only one firm can do home lending. So I would assume that it would be LIC Housing Finance, not IDBI Bank.
We haven't taken a call on that as yet. LIC Housing has a different kind of clientele. Bank typically has a different kind of clientele. How we are going to be able to match these two is something that will take some time. Once we do that, then we'll take a call on whether IDBI will continue or whether LIC HFL will continue to do.
But on a 5-year basis, on a 10-year basis, do you think it makes sense for LIC to have a bank? I mean, that was the comment which came to us.
It does.
Why is that?
Now, if you look at countries outside of India, you will find that most of the country, the banks that sell insurance. It's only here that we have an insurance company upfront, then they get into a bank. If you look at other private sector also, I mean, most of them have banks. So this was something that we wanted to do for a long time. We also felt the need that we should have a bank where, you know, our accounts can get integrated, faster movement of money. Of course, now you have NEFT, TCS and all that. Those days, 20 years back, it was not there. So this was a dream which was there right from 1960s and 70s. We had strategic alliances at that time. We had strategic stake in some of the banks, but ultimately we wanted this to happen, and we are happy that it's happened.
LIC Housing Finance it's not the number one player, but it is a formidable player. The book is about 2.2 to 2.2 lakh crore. How confident are you about your housing HFC business growing at a time when others don't have the ability to lend, and this is one housing finance company which has ability to lend and also has a very deep understanding of builder loans?
I believe they have come out of the kind of issues that they had. They didn't have much of an issue except the inventory that was so high in the market. And I think slowly, FM has also announced a last mile amount to be paid to finishing some of these projects. And once that happens, I think things will start picking up again. And I am very confident LIC Housing Finance has been doing very well for us the last 15 years or so, and they'll continue to do very well.
So you think all the builder loan challenges that's behind them?
More or less it is behind us.
While you managed to scale up your home finance business, LIC was also in other businesses. They were also a big player in the mutual fund business. Some of that end of the business has not been able to scale up. Why is that?
We are not very happy about the way LIC Mutual Fund has done so far, but then we have a new team in place now this year. We had for some years a tie-up with Nomura, and that is over now. We are very strong on the debt and liquid funds. We have not been very strong on the equity part of it. but I think that will change now with this new team.
How prepared are you to handle competition which is coming via the private players, especially on online and digital medium? I know you have a great website, but the private players are saying we are the best, we are the fastest, we are the quickest.
True. So as I said before, our term plan, there was an issue of competitive prices. We have taken care of that. If you look at our website on tech term, you will find it is very easy to navigate. We also have introduced a video medical report where people will call up the doctor over the phone will give an advice, and things will move very fast. I am confident that we'll be equally fast, if not faster.
LIC has changed a lot in terms of their communication, also in terms of the way how the elasticity in the organizations, a big organization has come back when private sector competition really started knocking on the doors. 3 to 5 years from now, what could be that big cultural change or structural change within LIC?
Well, we have a few channels, like the bank assurance channel, we have the direct marketing channel. These are the channels that are the channels of the future. All said and done, in the Indian mind space, you still do an eyeball to eyeball kind of insurance. You need that agent still in the market. People are comfortable with that. So even though the agency channel will grow, some of these other smaller channels, I see a lot of traction happening in them. This is the basic change that will happen in the organization, number one. Number two, on technology, we have been starting doing a lot of work. Very early, of course, but artificial intelligence. We have introduced a chat bot. We're just testing it out with the tech term. If you look at the tech term product, you will find a chat bot. LIC Mitra, a conversational chat bot that will work. Going forward, we want to scale up technology also in a big way so that we are in tune with the times.
Time and again the rumor keeps on surfacing up that does it make sense to list LIC? Now, LIC was created with the Act of Parliament, so it needs special provisions. But do you think for those who sometimes, who like to hear more about LIC listing, they should dismiss all these buzz, all the rumors?
I wouldn't be able to comment on that. But then,
but
as I said,
logically, does it make sense to list LIC?
For us, from LIC point of view, we would say it doesn't make sense because there is still a lot of something left in us to grow. It's not as if we are going away or something. But then going forward, if that has to happen, it will happen one fine day, but not today.
So what are the plans in terms of new hiring and also adding new network and also adding new branches? Because like you said, that ultimately insurance is a product where you need to meet the person before you get convinced. While you have a digital strategy, I'm sure you have a branch strategy. So can you just walk us through that?
We're not increasing branches as of now. In fact, what we're trying to do is some of the mini offices that we have, we're trying to integrate it with the IDBI banks wherever they are available in the same space. There's a cost savings as well. Plus, we are hiring development officers. We already completed the process. About 8,000 development officers are going to be recruited, almost done. We are also hiring a clerical cadre, another 8,000 people. So we are an aging organization. Our average age is around 48, 49. So fresh blood needs to be inducted, and that's what we have done. So almost 16,000 people are joining us in the next couple of months.
On the productivity front, now that you are going high tech, you're adding different productivity levers. The top line versus margin ratio, how do you see that changing for LIC?
See, we've been here for such a long time, that margin will not change appreciably in a very short time. It will take a lot of time for that margin to, deepen a bit. But as of now, we are more interested in top line. As I said, in fact, I've been telling people, don't ask me investment questions. We are an insurance company.
Right.
So we want to scale up insurance operations, grow more, so that then over a period of time, that margin will happen.
So right now the focus is market share gain, not so much for profitability.
I wouldn't even say market share gain. I would say grow. And a few years back, when the product regulations were changed by IRDA in 2013, we were selling almost 3.8 crore policies at that point of time. Last year we sold 2 crore policies. We need to get back into that 4 crore, 5 crore policy selling.
How will you achieve that?
So as I said, development officers are being recruited. They will recruit agents. So we will increase the agency strength, agency army. We also have the bancassurance tie with IDBI. They're also doing very well. So put together, I think a lot of traction will happen.
The private players are of the view, private even public players are of the view that in order to sell policies, you need to have branches, you need to have reach, and you need to have operating branches. How do you find this criticism?
We have branches. As I said, I'm not increasing the branches.
Bank branches.
We're not increasing the branches. I'm only increasing the people who will sell the insurance with the same number of branches.
Okay. I have to ask you a personal question, which is that for the chairman of LIC, ever since you took over as the chairman, what's been the single most or the biggest challenge for you? How does your day start? How does your day end?
Well, it's generally a long day, and a lot of work happens outside Bombay. I visit a lot of our offices to meet people, and therefore there's a lot of touring involved. The biggest challenge, as I told you, is that we need to grow faster, and around that, whatever needs to happen has to happen.
You know, at ET now we are calling this Diwali as Naya Saal Nayi Shuruaat, which is that the year has changed, let's change resolutions. So if you have to make a resolution for this Samvat here, what will be your personal resolution?
Personal resolution is to ensure that I give to LIC whatever I can. I have done in 36 years, and what more I can give the next couple of years.
What is one thing you always wanted to change about LIC, and now as the chairman you will certainly change it?
I won't change much, because we have grown with LIC. We have been in the branches, we worked in the divisions, and that is where work happens. As I said in the beginning, these 11 lakh agents and development officers at the field force is what makes LIC. Our employees, 1,20,000 people, settling claims day in and day out. This is what LIC is all about.
And personally, who's one person whom you think has influenced you a lot in your professional career, in your personal career?
Well, there are many people. Very difficult to single out any one person. But there are many LICians, past, present.
You know, it's often said on the Lal Street and Wall Street that tell me whom your heroes are, and I will tell you where the company is headed. So whom do you think your heroes are in real life?
Real life?
Yeah. And no Bollywood names.
No. I don't have any heroes. I mean, everyone who works for LIC is a hero for me.
You know, I always say that the LIC chairman, or the LIC is one organization which is ensuring crores of Indians. So all LIC predecessors and the LIC successors, I think they are heroes for a lot of Indians.
That's what I said.
I just wanted to compliment you on the great organization which you headed, and the fact that you managed to really keep your market share intact in this kind of environment. I think that's extraordinary. So it was lovely interacting with you.
Nice of you. Thank you so much,
I certainly hope to
Nicholas.
interact much more of you going forward.
Sure.